What if we change the speed multiplier to 0.25? Or 2? Not much help. Let's change it back. It's not really about a particular setting, but more of a system of identifying usable market traits and speeds. It's about this entry up here, and it's about this entry right here. And you want to define your trading strategy to allow you to use the market's information and characteristics to get those kind of low drawdown entries early in a new trend move. That's not all. You want to make sure that it won't be ignorant of the speed changes that will happen and cause an oscillator to hiccup and shake you out early. You want to get the long runs and yet take incremental profit through superb money management, trade handling techniques. You want to trade like a professional in the 21st century. Yes, of course, that's what you want, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. There's just one MA here showing speed changes and double moves. That's not capable of exploiting the traits we see. Precisely what is needed is a radar gun. In this changeable environment, you must have a rigid comparative that self-calibrates to the local speed zone's speed, since you can't know what the speed is while it builds out in real time. That doesn't sound like the way the kids did it in the 1600s anymore, does it? This is a star trait set tool for that speed calibration. It has identified a trait set for us, and I want to tell you briefly about the strategy that we are using. Here is the synergy in markets we can use. The speed of a move creates a variable but fractally similar and repeating speed signature, which we see as the double moves. The endings of double moves are obviously where the reversals and joining back into trends is happening. The speed changes can be used to glove fit to the double moves in a precise way, which makes our comparative relevant to the market because it is at the speed of the market. Although a manual method, the tool has built-in assists. For example, the choice of a time frame is not the nagging issue that you now face, because each time frame has a forced speed range. So you cannot choose the wrong time frame for any term you choose to trade in. It has also told me that at this speed multiplier, all of my criteria have been met, and it has selected the main pivot starting point, shown by the dashed blue line at the left. The basic approach here is that a Fibonacci ratio family of MAs does have the ability to create a spectrum capturing of speed characteristics that just one MA cannot. It can do this using 3-place decimal precision. Simplistic robotic approach to TA? No, but there are over a dozen little robots on the job here to perform a strategic TA. These orange and white arrows are there to show you the flip of the slowest gold SMA. Even if I slow the speed multiplier from 0.761 to 0.762, the period settings for all MAs would be changed by 0.001, then this trait set wouldn't validate at that slowest speed. There's a main structure used to find our double move, which consists of 2 stages of movement broken in the middle by flipping over of the fib family of MAs. Where you see the arrows, it is showing that the slowest MA, the gold one, has flipped to meet criteria. Each of the stages on either side of the flip must have a sustained move which creates an orientation. It makes the orientation histogram show it has occurred. STAR tools combine items for visual confirmation as well as digital criteria validation. Every criteria is 100% mechanical, so there's no subjectivity in any step of the process. Moving up the line here in our trait set, I'll point out another criteria that the tool has checked. Remember that the double moves have double moves inside them. One of our traits in the second stage is an area where the movement of that stage gets a challenge consolidation that makes the thin gold line, which is in the EMA, cross the thick red line, which is an SMA. Not rocket science, just means to an end of matching our market. Also notice that at the lowest window, there's an indicator called STAR trend histogram. And this will let us know if this is a reversal to or a joining back with larger term trends appropriate to the term used in our trait set. Without divulging specifics, this has import in our new trade filters, which work on simple mechanical MA crossing criteria that we call flags and flag unsets. In a recent full month same trades comparison, this filter system increased the profit factor on our watch list trades from 9 to 30 and increased profits from longer runs. That thin gold crossing thick red is called a cut, and after that, the finale of the trait set is met by the market moving beyond that again and SMAs simply turning trendward again, which the tool has validated for us. Right here it says valid move after cut. That's the last trait. So now we have all our traits, and at any time that any pullback against that trait set trend, which is deep enough, will turn on this box element of the tool. This means it is time for checking for a signal. The time frame and the speed multiplier have remained in the terminal, and so now we have loaded our pullback tool template. That's the second of 3 tools. The trading signal for STAR is designed to come after a new trend has already begun and picked up at the prime retracement, so that your time and best use of equity are not tied up in the initial fight over this trend change. Since the speed of any new move will be different, the tools are designed to balance the old trend's speed with that of the new and give you a low drawdown entry in that new trend, should it meet criteria. If it does not, it is a no trade, which awaits a new trend extreme, which is shown here, or a pullback extreme, which is shown at the bar with the blue dash. That's all done by the box element of the tool here. And then when we get a new pullback extreme or a new trend extreme, it would be time to take a new signal reading. The signal reading process begins with this pullback tool, and we call this a pullback evaluation. The speed of the old trend and the way the pullback develops is highly variable. So we let the market tell its own story, and it will give us a piece of information for the setting of our signal tool, which then becomes custom fit for this exact spot. This is the heart of STAR, which is an acronym for Super Trades at Retrace. And this heart of STAR is actually a key to Elliott waves, which the waves themselves somehow generate. There's no counting waves in STAR, and I don't even recommend that method. But this discovery of the key to the waves did lead directly to the first new rule for Elliott wave in 70 years. Just wanted you to know that there's a foundation to how the market will divulge the balance of speeds and the settings for the market speed adjustable signal tool we call an X factor. The little robots On this tool are a Fibonacci ratio family of MAs in color-matched paired sets of exponential and simple MAs, commonly called EMAs and SMAs. We want to get crosses of the EMA-SMA pairs that meet criteria. The tool highlights the ones which do that for us in the lower window to help us as well. Some pullbacks are deep and some shallow. We use this white dashed MA as a pullback depth flag. Deep pullbacks also may cause the SMAs to turn along with the EMAs, and that doesn't give a good cross. That will cause this force index histogram to give a counter trend color, and the tool also assists by calculating and displaying a speed multiplier adjustment for you, which I'll show later. This one is not that deep. Since no speed adjustment is needed, we leave it the same and just call the X Factor tool according to the ones color boxed in the lower window. Many improvements have been made to the tools in order to streamline the learning and implementation, and more will follow. The semi-automated assists are in a developmental process to add features, but already offer considerable advantages over the original system released 5 years ago. I'm sure you'll agree that this is not brain surgery, but anything that offers direct access to the speed and features of the changing market is worth a carefully built foundation, right? Of course, I know you do. If you're one of those who still think there's a robot or just some ATM machine with red and green lights magically giving you money, then you ought to do something else with your time. The rest of us are wanting to open the X Factor. So that's what we have here. I had highlights around the 0.618 magenta and 0.500 aqua, and all I did was open a template by that name, starting first as we do with the one which was furthest to the right. The X Factor templates are constructed with the Fibonacci ratio period settings of the MAs already set. They are the reflection of the price over time speed adjustment for the balance between old and new trend. Faster settings such as 0.236 respond to shallower depth pullbacks as compared to slower settings like the 1.618 version, which balances deeper pullbacks. In other words, the MAs are tuned for the scale of each situation, and the market gets to choose what it wants in each pullback retracement combination. The lime and purple lines are Hull moving averages, referred to as HMAs, chosen for their trend persistence, and there are two different ones, so their interaction may create signal criteria. There are also the specific EMA-SMA pair that carry over from the pullback tool. In this particular case, the purple HMA is giving a no trade indication from purple swing out flag. This is where the purple has not turned along with the pullback, but instead steams ahead right on to the trend extreme level. This is the end of the road for this setup for now, until either a new price trend extreme lower than there, or pullback extreme pulling back up into here happen, and a new reading will take place. In that case, the pullback tool would give us new fib ratio settings to match those new parameters of the price time analysis. Let me quickly show the